Hello, this is Edith Neumeyer, and I'm the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. I hope my subscribers have considered reading my book, The Mystery of Adam, and I know you would not regret getting the information and learning about the greatest conspiracy since the creation of humankind. But today I am continuing to talk about false teachers. And there are numerous false teachers. Of course, people are going to say, well, how do I know I'm not a false teacher? Well, it's simple. I think if you go by what the Bible is saying and not listen to the interpretation of other people and really listen to the Holy Spirit, I think you're more likely to go in the direction of God. So many people, they go by what other people say. And these are the people on YouTube that they get so many views. I mean, thousands of views. And these people may have like 80% good information. And I believe that's why they are terrible deceivers. Because they have tons and tons of good information, but vital things, when it comes to end times, they mess up. And there are so many. Now, I sometimes rather would listen to people that give me just plain information, end times, or information about things that are happening, instead of mixing in this end times false doctrine. The thing is, these people are no Bible scholars, but they give you information. In other words, they're giving you news, and then they mix it with just enough false doctrine so you would fall and follow them. Now, I have talked about this so many times, especially how many more times do I have to hear about the Antichrist? This end time Antichrist that is going to come. People, when is that going to happen? When is that going to happen? Okay? We are so close. But of course, most people think about, that we have 7 years of tribulation. Oh, 7 years of tribulation. And you know what they think about 7 years of tribulation? They think this is going to be a rosy time, except for, of course, for true believers. They're going to be persecuted. We are not being persecuted. We have not been persecuted for 2,000 years. People, once the rapture happens, and I know people are throwing that concept out left and right. See, there's these people that finally realized that dispensationalism is false doctrine made up by Jesuits. Okay? It was started by Darby, and then Scofield really pushed it very strongly. Now, Scofield pushed a lot of other things which really confused people tremendously. So these people now are waking up, or some of the people are waking up and are saying, oh, wait a minute, we were taught wrong doctrine. And this wrong doctrine goes like this. Daniel 70 weeks is not fulfilled. So we still have 1 week. Actually, the Jews still have 1 week. And that is going to be the Great Tribulation. And during that Great Tribulation, we're going to have the Antichrist sit in the temple. There is nothing in the Bible that shows that. Nothing. They cannot stand on anything. And I have said that in my videos so big time. See, now we have this big hype about Noahide laws, because people are flocking to Judaism. Christians are flocking to Judaism. Why? Because the Zionists made this for what? For 75 years, probably longer, and pushed this propaganda that the Jews, well, Israel, whoever that is, Israel, who is Israel? Israel contained what, 12 tribes? Well, actually 13, if you really think about it. People think 12 tribes, but they're really 13 tribes, okay? Because Joseph received 2 portions, which was Ephraim and Manasseh. And so therefore, really there are 13 tribes. They only counted 12 because the Levites were really not counted, because the Levites are the priest, okay, and they never received some land, so that's why 12. But they forget that 10 tribes were dispersed totally among all the Gentiles, and so now these 12 tribes are mixed in with Gentiles, and you cannot tell anymore who is actually a Gentile and who is really an Israelite. Okay? So the kingdom of Israel was dispersed. So really the Jews, the descendants of Judah, and the descendants of Benjamin have no right to claim any other property than theirs. Property that was given to them when they came into the promised land. They have no claim to any of the other tribes' sections. Okay? Right now we have a big thing going on with the Golan Heights. Huge thing is going on right now. Trump went to Israel, and I don't know, did he go to Israel? But nevertheless, he supported Israel stealing the Golan Heights from Syria. The Golan Heights never belonged to Israel in the first place. The borderline to Syria belonged to Manasseh. I think it was Manasseh. Yes, it was Manasseh. Okay? He had a huge plot of land. Manasseh had a huge plot of land, and that bordered to Syria, but never included the Golan Heights. Never. Okay? So Manasseh is gone. Manasseh is not here anymore. So even if they can claim the Golan Heights, it would belong to the tribe of Manasseh. And Manasseh is gone. He cannot be found. I don't think anybody can trace the tribe of Manasseh back. Why? Because they were dispersed. Absolutely dispersed. I have said that in so many of my videos. And people are so uneducated. I mean, really uneducated. And they just go by stupid things other people are telling them. They constantly quote false scripture, and that was misinterpreted, especially by Judaism. Especially by Judaism. Okay? They think Judaism is the true religion of the Israelites, but it isn't. It isn't. Judaism, again, going back to Judah, was developed after, well, it already got started during the time in Babylon, during the captivity. The Jews brought back a lot of stuff from that captivity, including Judaism. Okay? So they developed their own religion, in a sense. They mingled it especially with Zohar, with mystery religions, okay, with idolatry. And they ended up, by the time Jesus came on the scene, they ended up with Judaism, a false religion. an absolutely false religion. Now some of the people knew it, and they left the temple system and went to Qumran and started actually a temple system there, a pure temple system, because the temple system during Jesus' time or after Jesus' time was absolutely corrupt. Absolutely corrupt. The Pharisees, the Sadducees, everybody, they were all corrupt. They were all making up their own religion. And that got even worse after they were all kicked out of Judah. Why? Because all of a sudden, 80% of the Torah, people, listen to this, 80% of the Torah could not be fulfilled. Because 80% of the Torah can only be fulfilled towards the temple and the sacrificial system. So they couldn't even fulfill that anymore. There was no more way of salvation for the Jews. Okay? No more salvation. So they have to come up with a system. All their little things, okay, that they eventually wrote down in Talmud. They already started with Talmud. Some people say, well, Talmud, well, it's true. Some say, well, Talmud was written down around, I think, 200 or 300. Because the Jews realized they would lose some of their traditions, okay? And their oral traditions, not Torah, not the prophets, but the oral traditions, which they went by even during Jesus' time. And Jesus came down really, really, really hard on them. Very, very hard, okay? So they started writing it down around 200 or 300 BC. I mean, 80. 80. But the teachings were already in place. They were already in place when they were kicked out of Jerusalem and Judea. Okay, it was called Judea because it was still, Judea was the kingdom of the Jews, or the descendants, the tribe of Judah and Benjamin. Okay? So, that's the only people, and part of the Levites. Half of the Levites, I think, were with Judah, and half of the Levites were with the kingdom of Israel. So they came back from the Babylonian captivity. Then they were kicked out. When they were kicked out, they realized they have to, in order to survive Judaism, they had to write down the oral traditions, which already started in Babylon. That's why there is actually a Babylonian Talmud. Why are they calling it Babylonian Talmud? Well, because that's where they already collected the information. And it was orally. They were using it orally. Okay? They knew what it meant, but it was not written down. So, Judaism is a created religion. It is not based on Torah. They say, oh yeah, it's based on Torah and the prophet. But Jesus said, if you would know Moses and the prophets, you would know me. You would not reject me. And what did they do? They rejected him. Why? Because they did not read Moses and they did not read the prophets. Because the prophets clearly show them. Isaiah clearly shows. Ezekiel, Zechariah, they all clearly, every prophet clearly shows who Messiah is. And they turn around and they rather listen to Rambam and Ravi and all these other guys, okay? All these false teachers. And of course, some of them we don't even know where they got it from. Because some of the stuff they collected and wrote down, especially around 200 to 300, we don't know where they even came up with this stuff. Okay? Of course, they have to come up with this system how they're going to get saved, because there's no more, sacrificial system there. And they didn't accept Jesus, who is the ultimate sacrifice. So how are they going to get saved? How are they going to get written in the book of life? How are they going to get? Well, by doing good deeds. Now, who else brought up that idea that good deeds will save you? The Catholic Church. The Roman Catholic Church is not anything different. It is the same theology. I am saved because I do everything just correctly. Okay? I go by everything the Torah says. You cannot even go by everything Torah says. Okay? You cannot go by Torah. 80% of Torah is fulfilled actually cannot be fulfilled right now. But all of Torah has been fulfilled by Jesus. Everything. Okay? Torah is a symbolic a picture of who Messiah is going to be. The whole thing, the whole tabernacle. The tabernacle is a biblical, is a symbolic representation of the true temple, which the Jews did not get. They just didn't get it. Not even David got it. Not even Zechariah got it. They did not get it. And you know what? God told them over and over again. He said, I don't want to be in a temple made up of stones. I don't want to be in there. That is not what my intention is. My intention is to be in your heart. In your heart. He wanted living stones. We are living stones. That's what he did. The Jews don't care. They don't care. They want their own religion. And now what they're doing is they're even misleading the Christians. Right and left, they're misleading the Christians. Why? Because they want to continue their own plan to bring about one world government. Well, one world government is already here. Okay, we just don't know it because they're working in secret at this point. Now, there's one world government is already here. They're already working together. Okay? But eventually, maybe they want to just, I don't know what their goal is. I think their goal, of course, is to mislead as many people as possible. And that has always been the goal of the beast system. Now, I'm coming down very hard, on Judaism. But look at the Christian, should I say religion? Look at Christianity. What have we done? We have not done anything different. We make up our own religion. We make up our own false doctrine. That is just what we're doing. And people, and I see it over and over and over again, are following these false religions. Okay? They're following this false. They don't care. I'm telling you, there is, if Christ is returning today, how many true believers will he find? How many true believers will he find? I mean, true believers who did not bow down to any false teachers. How many? I'm not sure if they will find a lot. Because we today have such a tendency to follow teachers, pastors, Bible teachers. Oh, people that have PhDs, okay? The doctor. If you have a doctorate degree, everybody's going to listen to you. Why? Because people think, well, you need to know something. If you have a PhD, well, you must know salvation. Well, sometimes these people with a PhD only have head knowledge. And sometimes they have the wrong head knowledge. Okay? False head knowledge. They are false, misleading people. And then you have false people out there that are being used. See, these people, they give information, and sometimes it is valid information. Okay? For instance, I'll tell you, there's people out there, they speak big words against Zionism, and Zionism is this bad, and anti-Semitism, and blah, blah. They speak out against these things, but yet they're still hooking you into a false doctrine. And you have to be so careful not to be swept away by it. Okay? Again, how do you know I am not a false teacher? I mean, I could teach you false stuff as well. That's definitely true. But if you do your own study, read things your own. You know, if somebody says, oh, there is another week left in Daniel 70 week, why don't you read it yourself? I have done videos and people don't listen to them. Okay? I have done videos on Daniel 70th week. People don't care. People don't seem to care. They like buzzwords, okay? Buzzwords. And so then everybody flocks to these buzzwords on YouTube. If you just say the right buzzwords like Third Temple, oh my goodness, people are flocking to you if you just mention Third Temple, okay? Or what was one of my videos that had a lot of views? I don't know. Was it the temple? Let me see. Which one was it that I had a whole bunch of views? Oh yeah, shocking news. The third temple is being built right now. Oh my goodness, did I have tons and tons and tons of views. Why? Because people want to hear that. Why do they want to hear about the third temple? Why? Why is that so important for people to hear about the third temple? A third temple that is going to be an abomination. People make no mistake. The Antichrist doesn't have to sit in that temple for it to be an abomination. It would be already an abomination. Establishing that temple system would already be an abomination. Why? Because they scream in Messiah's face and they're saying, we do not want your temple. We don't care about you, Messiah. Okay? Messiah, who is God in the flesh. People, God in the flesh. Okay? Messiah is God in the flesh. And of course, what do the Jews do? They even reject that one. Oh no, that doesn't even exist. And yet when I read Isaiah or the prophets, when I read it, it is so obvious. There is one, and I think it's in Isaiah, where he says, they will look upon me who they pierced. Now, can they pierce God? No. God has to become a human being in order to be pierced. Okay? That's why they don't understand it. Because they don't want to understand it. And then so many people say, oh, God's going to give them a chance, and he's going to bring them in, and he's going to take, the veil off their eyes. People, when you continue to reject God, he ain't going to open anybody's eyes. You reject God, there is no opening eyes. You need to stop rejecting and calling God or Jesus' name, Messiah name. They made up their own Messiah. Okay? Their own definition of who Messiah is. Oh, Messiah is just a worldly person. People, that's why. Listen to this. Messiah, a Jewish Messiah, can never be calling himself God. If he would call himself God in the flesh, He would blaspheme. That's why they wanted to kill Jesus, because he claimed to be God. And they decided to kill him because in their eyes, he blasphemed. So that the Jewish Messiah can never claim to be God. Never. They can never sit in the temple and say, well, I am God. It's like, people, wake up. Okay? Wake up. Things don't go together. Things do not go together. So what the Jews will come up with a third temple. What does that mean? That does not mean a thing. It just screams in God's face that they are continuing to worship idols, because that is an idol. When you erect a temple that is not related to anything of God, you are erecting an idol. They already dedicated the altar. What do you think that is? That is idol worship. Idol worship. They can't sacrifice or offer anything to God because he will not accept it. Because he has already put up a sacrifice that he deemed was correct. And that was Jesus, the Messiah, his Messiah. Everybody goes by Daniel. And Daniel already said very clearly that Messiah came. Okay? If nobody else told them exactly when Messiah comes, Daniel tells them at least 3 times. Okay? 3 times. He tells them one time in connection to the destruction of the temple. Messiah will be, the prince will be cut off. Okay? Who is that? That's Messiah. And then there will be the destruction. There will be an abomination of desolation, which is the destruction of the temple. And then Daniel again used that same thing, the abomination of desolation, 2 other times to make sure people understood when that is going to happen. And people are just, boop, they don't care. They're not studying anything. So how in the world am I going to be a false teacher or teaching for something false? People are not studying things. They are not studying anything. They always listen to somebody else. And okay, maybe I should just forget. Somebody told me, gave me a comment and says, why are you so concerned about people? Well, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't even be concerned about anybody. Okay? Why? Because nobody wants to listen. Nobody. You know, it's very seldom I get positive feedback. Very seldom. I get a lot of stupid things. Really, stupid comments. Well, I shouldn't call them stupid. But, you know, when I make a comment and say something that is so misinterpreted, then I guess it's kind of stupid. It's kind of stupid. For instance, if I say, oh, there's another week with Daniel, and I have not even done my studies, I just quoted some false Bible teachers, some maybe false Zionist person that's trying to mislead people. Understand that the Jews have no interest in you being saved. They are going to be lost. They're lost because they're following Satan. So do you think they want you to be saved? Of course they don't want you to be saved. They want to mislead as many people as they can. Right now they have the standing. Why? Because people gave them their ears. Oh yeah, we're going to listen. Why don't you tell us? We have plenty of false teachers. And these false teachers are not only supporting Israel and Zionism, but they also support at the same time the Pope. Okay? The beast system. The beast system, where people think the Antichrist is somewhere in the end. Antichrist is already here. Okay? It has been already here for a long time. It has already gotten drunk with the blood of the saints. Okay? That's what Revelation says. This whore on the beast got drunk with the blood of the Lamb. And in Revelation 6, read, is the fifth seal, the saints under the altar. Okay? What they're saying. They're screaming. They're saying, when are you finally coming to avenge us? Okay? The martyrs under the altar. They're screaming right now. When, Jesus, when are you going to return to avenge? Now, what did he say? Wait just a little longer. Just a little longer. That's what he said. Read Revelation, I think it's in Revelation 5, where it is. Okay, I think it's the fifth, could be the fifth seal. So, look it up. He says, just a little while. And people, we only have a little while. And I'm saying a little while. Why? Because we have already, well, not yet 2,000 years. Okay? We will have 2,000 years, and we don't even know 100%, the timeline. When was Jesus really crucified? Was it 33? Was it 30? But 33 or 30 is when the 2,000 years are up. We have 18 right now. Now, you think he really is going to come later than that time? I don't think so. See, here is what I believe very strongly, and that's the bottom line. He is our bridegroom. And because he's our bridegroom, he is going to apply the Jewish wedding, okay, to his coming. The Jewish wedding is symbolic for his return. And no matter what you say, how you interpret, you cannot get around the Jewish wedding. So become familiar with the Jewish wedding, and then maybe everything else will fall in place. And who cares about the Antichrist? Who cares about the false Messiah? Who cares about the third temple? Who cares about anything else? If you are not ready for his return, and it will be very, very soon, you will be left behind. Okay? And I'm going to use this left behind thing, okay? Even though it comes from really false doctrine. Because they believe in this tribulation period. 7-year tribulation period, which doesn't happen. Okay? We have now tribulation. We have now great tribulation. During the time of the Gentiles, we have great tribulation. Once that is over, the wrath of God starts. No more tribulation. Well, there's going to be still, tribulation. But it's going to be the wrath. Okay? It's going to be the wrath. And you know what? It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be fun for anybody. Remember, Revelation 6 says that people will hide in caves because they know the wrath of God is coming. They're not out there persecuting the saints and all that stuff and killing people. People are going to be killed left and right. Okay? Nobody has to worry about killing anybody. Because all the things that are happening, tons and tons of people will be killed during that time. Okay? And if you're not in the bunker, your chance that you will survive the wrath of God is very slim. Very, very, very slim. I'll guarantee you that. Okay? I will finish up for today. I just had to say that. People, wake up. That's all I can say. People, wake up.